What's up, world? This is Sophisticated Investing Life, and we're going to discuss why options trading is better than dividend investing in today's video. Now, this is actually a follow-up to a video I did about why I prefer to trade options, primarily sell options, instead of buying stocks. So if you haven't checked out that video, check it out in the card above. And actually, this is not the opinion of mine, but it's actually the opinion of an older gentleman I met randomly, like in New York City in 2017, which actually got me interested in options trading in the very first place. When I first dug into it, it got a little complicated, so that's why I strayed away from it. But he was the first person that put the thought into my mind, right? So this guy, his name was actually Lance. Let's call him Lance. He was in his later 40s today, but a little bit younger. In 2017, maybe not that much younger, maybe 42, 43. And he achieved financial independence when I met him by switching from dividend investing to option selling options, right? That was the strategy. Now, he wanted to achieve financial independence primarily through dividend investing. That was the original start, right? He heard about it from a family member in the early 2000s, and he started taking investing serious around 2008, right when the financial crisis was happening, right? But when that was happening, that was perfect for somebody like Lance, because the dividend yields of these companies were like 6, 8, even 10%. High quality companies, because the stock price is just falling, the dividend yield goes up because they're not changing the dividend. So he bought as much as he could reasonably afford and reached a 6-figure account by 2010, bringing him to nearly $9,000 a year in dividends. So think about that. $100,000 account, $9,000 in annual dividends. That's a 9% yield on an entire portfolio, which is amazing. Well, the low-hanging fruit ran out, and dividend yields reverted back to their 2 to 4% normal range later on as the years passed. And Lance was not happy about this. He truly thought, true blue passive income, I can live off of my dividends, right? But he saw how long it would actually take, right? To actually build up an account to where he can live off of, $4,000 a month of dividends, right? So that was kind of his goal, a month, not a year, a month. So 2013 comes and his portfolio is a little bit over $200,000, right? But it's only bringing in a yield of 7% because you start blending in the high yielding years with the lower yielding years. So at 7%, he's only got $14,000, which is about $1,000 a month. Right at this rate, he's like, it's going to probably take me another decade or so just to come close. And he's like, the whole point of me doing this is to retire kind of early, right? So let me try to find out some different ways to do this. So he kind of just naturally, I didn't get this part of the story, but he came across option selling as a strategy, right? And primarily an income strategy, right? You can produce income. And once he started doing it, he did a little bit more learning. He came across a strategy called the Iron Condor. It's a very simple strategy, actually. It's a market neutral strategy, meaning you're not taking any bet the stock's going to go up or down. And you just sell option contracts, both for the stock to go up and go down. And you're hoping a stock stays within a certain range, right, over a period of time, right? So let's not spend too much time on the strategy. Just know that he chose a relatively simple strategy that wasn't that complicated, and then he didn't take a lot of risk while doing it, right? So while doing that, he was able to generate from 2013, 2017 annual returns around 25%, right? Now he got his account up to over $500,000, and he has even confidence that he can generate 2% in monthly income, right? Monthly income from monthly returns, right? So that comes out to a monthly income of about $10,000. $500,000 account, 2% a month, $10,000. And he's not going to use all of that, right? So it's like he's using part of that to live off of. He's using another part of that to keep growing his wealth. Now, once he did that, he left his vice president job at a major bank in New York City, went to trading full time, needing only a few hours a week to trade, and spend the rest of his life, what's the typical thing? They go traveling, they don't stress, visit family, yada yada. But this was the route he took. Now, for you dividend investors out here who are watching this video, I get it. Dividends are king. I get it. It's a really good feeling attached to just having not free money, but cash in your account just for holding a stock, right? On a quarterly, sometimes on even a monthly basis. Some investors even get to that point where they can live off of their dividend checks, right? But you can have that same feeling that through selling options. That's what Lance figured out, and you also have the ability to live off of what Lance was living off of sooner than you think, sooner than going the dividend investing route. So, with that story in mind, go ahead, tap the like button so we can spread this message, and let's dig into the top 3 reasons why selling options is better than dividend investing. So let's start with the biggest reason why selling options is better, and that's the dividend yield for most companies, or the yield of the entire portfolio, right? Now, the typical good dividend stock, good dividend yield will be around 2 to 4%, maybe 3 to 4%, right? Now, once dividend yield starts getting much higher than that, in 6, 7, 8% range, and it's not like the stock market just fell off a cliff. You gotta start wondering about, how good is the company? The company's probably in trouble, so those are usually stocks to stay away from. But that's typically the range 3 to 4%. However, you can, keep things basic. If you have a big enough account, you can do a covered call strategy on stocks you already own, and you can yield 7 to 10%. That's one way you can approach things. That's how some people do it. For smaller accounts, less than 6 figures, and what I think is easier is just avoid stocks altogether, go into selling options, and you can achieve the equivalent of a 10 to 20% yield without taking that much risk. Selling put options, right? Selling put options. And Lance, remember, he achieved 25%. He was selling both put and call options. That's a different story, but essentially, you can sell the put options, and all of that is yield, right? That's actually all cash hitting your account. It's not capital appreciation. And that's one really good reason to really dig deeper into that. Now, you are going to forfeit the capital appreciation benefits, but you're a dividend investor, you don't really care that much about it anyway. So let's just be honest. Let's go straight to the yield, and you can yield more selling options than buying and investing in dividends. This leads to my second reason why I prefer option selling over dividends, and it's the time horizon for financial independence. Like I mentioned before, you can have the chance to generate 1, 2, which should become really good, 3% monthly returns, right? 3% monthly returns, and that's cash in your account, which lowers the requirement of how much money you need in an investment account to actually retire, right? Or reach that financial independence level. So let's say that I want to live off of $5,000 a month. That's $60,000 a year I need to generate, right? Let's not consider taxes and everything. Let's just go with that. With a dividend portfolio yielding 3% a year, which is a good yield for a dividend in good times, like in the markets we have today, that would require a $2 million portfolio full of dividends. That's the yield on the entire portfolio, right? However, with option selling, I can achieve that same yield in like number terms in 2 months without achieving the same risk, right? Leading me to only put away $400,000 instead, right? I can yield, if I can return 1.5% a month, that I only need $400,000, right? I don't need $2 million, right? You need so much less to get to the same point, right? Once you have a grasp of things, right? That just speeds things up for you achieving financial independence. Lastly, you have the ability to make money during bear markets. Now, don't get me wrong. With dividend investing, I will give it credit in that you tend to lose less than the market when things are really going bad, right? You tend to lose less than the general market through dividend investing. Those income investors, they hold strong, right? They don't leave stocks, right? Matter of fact, they tend to buy because they see the juicy yields. But there's a difference between not losing a lot of money and actually making money, especially in a time of distress. So, for example, Warren Buffett made money in 2008 selling put options right in the midst of the financial crisis, actually netting $4 billion in profits. And speaking of Buffett, he's an option seller. Matter of fact, it's one of his 3 secrets, one of his 3 investment secrets that took his investment game to the next level that the media does not talk about. So to dig more into those, download my free PDF discussing those 3 secrets that Warren Buffett uses, right? Take your investment game to the next level, fast track your investment account to 6 or even 7 figures. And there you have it. My argument, and also Lance's argument, for trading options, primarily selling options instead of dividend investing. Now, don't get me wrong, there are reasons to go the dividend investing route instead of selling options. Those reasons include a higher learning curve. It takes some time to get a grasp of what you're doing with option selling, right? It's not easy, whereas dividend investing is pretty straightforward. It's actually really straightforward, right? Find stocks that are paying dividends at a good rate and are growing their dividends over time. You actually have to put in some time for options trading, maybe a few hours a week, 1 to 2 hours once you really get it down. Whereas dividends, you can have that running on autopilot and never even have to think about it and just watch the dividends come in. And I mean, although, once you learn what you're doing, this is very unlikely to happen. It is possible to lose a lot more money doing options trading. Even selling options, if you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a ton of money. So, you don't have to worry about that with dividend investing, not to that same extent. But all those hurdles are easy to overcome once you learn what you were doing and not taking too much risk. And I'd rather give 1-2 hours a day for a 20% yield than to put in no time at all and only get a 2% yield. So which side of the argument are you going to fall on? Are you going to continue going down the dividend investing route, or are you going to give this option selling a try and take your investment game to the next level? So let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget, download my free PDF, Warren Buffett's top 3 investment secrets that made him the wealthiest investor of all time. So let's do that. Don't forget to download that, all right? That's all I have for you all today. So until the next time, thank you for watching and stay sophisticated.